What?
Have you got the money for the gas and
Oh, get me wallet. It's in the front room, Christine. Yeah, bear with me a minute, folks. I just need to sort something out. Right, so we can get stuck into. Right, I've taken the turntable off, and that's pretty much about all I've done off camera. I mean, you don't need to see me do everything. You've seen me do these. I mean, anyway, what I've actually done, I've just done the idler, because the idler on this was a bit.
Do you want anything then, Andy? I'll leave it.
No.
Do you want any burgers in a box?
Hang on a minute, let me just mute this a minute while I speak. Right.
Need any peas?
Oh yeah, I got a bag of frozen peas.
Any gravy?
No. Oh no, I don't need the peas, do I? I can get Mildred to get those. We're not having peas tonight. Right, what I've done the idler, and what you do with these idlers, you put a nut and bolt or a screw and bolt through them, and basically you put them in a drill. You put them in a drill chuck. I mean, I'm lucky. I've got a drill press. You just bolt them into a drill press, and just run a piece of switch it on and run some sandpaper around it. And this has got a bit of a divot there, but to be honest, I don't think it's going to make much difference.
Yeah, Andy.
Because the divots at the bottom of the idler are not at the top, not on the surface. That runs.
I've got to wait for me.
Hang on, I'm doing a video.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit. And runs. You don't think I sit here talking to myself deliberately, do you?
Alright, see you later.
Yeah, see you later. Right. And basically, the divot is on the bottom of the idler, so I'm hoping it won't make much of a difference. If it does, I'll just hit that with a bit of sandpaper. I don't think it will. I think that's all right. Because I say it's all right because I think it's all right, and I think it'll be right. And what we need to do, we need to put 3 new grommets in for the motor. We've got some somewhere, we'll find those motor grommets, because I never throw them away. Put them back on there because They are great. That is great for doing your idlers. Certain ones you have to have a different nut and bolt for each one. But we'll put that back there for now. Right. So that's the idler sorted out. We're not going to take the centre spindle out of this one. The reason why is because it's held in with a screw here, and it can be a bit of a pain in the ass to reposition. The other thing I will tell you about these is, be careful you don't lose the thrust washers. One of them comes out and the bearing race comes out. The bearing race can come out. Ball race, that can come out. I mean, I'm not going to pull this completely apart and do it because there isn't really any point, because it's all free and there's hardly no lubricant to speak of, so I'm just going to clean everything really. Now that needs greasing up again. It's not seen grease in years, that. Let's have a look at this ball race down here that's come out. I don't want to damage it, so no, I'm going to leave that one in. What we'll do next, we'll get our cloth, which is here. We'll get our detergent, which is here, and we'll wash our mechanism, and that's why we take the cartridge out, so we don't, because we don't want to wash the cartridge. It's not good for them. I mean, this is not going to be, this will clean up lovely. I mean, when this goes back in, it'll be the best part of the record player probably. But I'm going to try and do something about the case, because I just think it's worth saving. You know, because Dansettes are very good. You know, they're you know, I think they're excellent. I mean, I love them. You know, you're all probably sat there saying, "You lying get." The other week you were saying they were crap. Well, they weren't the best, were they? But that being said, you know, they were designed to a price point. Pretty cheap one, but still a price point. I mean, Dansettes were designed for one purpose, and that was to amuse teenagers. They were designed to go in your, see, that's even got a little pip on that you put on it when you undone the transit. When you took the transit screws out, it floated on its springs. But this is really grubby. It's, I mean, really I should I mean, I'm not stripping it because I've got too much to do. So, and you've seen me strip these before, so, and it's, if it was all seized up and jammed and stuff, then I would, but because it's not, then a good cleaning will suffice. And it will work just as well. I mean, it doesn't have to be immaculate. I mean, let's face it, who's going to see under here? I did have some cleaning stuff ages ago called Whiz, and I don't know where it went. Well, I used it, but I can't remember where I got it. But it was really good stuff. But anywhere we can't reach with the cleaner, with the cloth, we'll get in there with the cotton bud. Because I'm determined that I'm not going to pull this thing apart, because you know, I don't expect the record player to generate much of an income, much of a profit, if anything. But it is, I mean, these are what they are, really. I mean, they are what they are. I mean, they were produced in their millions. No one on the chat yet? Someone will pop in eventually, they always do. Hello to you all anyway. But I mean, these were produced in their thousands, and you know, they were designed to be, you know, from the very get-go. There was nothing expensive about them. I mean, there were a couple of models that were a little bit better, like I believe the Hi-Fi model. That weren't a bad one, I believe. It had a Garage 86 in it as well, I think, if I'm correct. It was pretty not badly made, I believe. The Hi-Fi model. I've never actually had one though, so I couldn't say for certain. But I have seen a few. But the problem is, when you see them, people want too much money. I mean, the prices that people want for these things, it's actually just unreal. I mean, to me, that looks like it's warped. So you just clean everywhere. I mean, really some red hot water on this would have been great. But that doesn't matter. It's got, at least all the paint on this is nice anyway. It's not bad. I've seen worse, and BSR, they were a bit tight on the paint in the first place. They had an habit of not putting a lot of paint on these things. See, like there where you can't really get your cloth in, you have to just try and pull it through and hope that you get the crap, which I have got most of that. Clean the arm, there's a sticker on the back of the arm. I'm not really bothered if that comes off, because it's not the right cartridge anyway. And then you get the original mongers who say, oh well, this should be left like this and this should be left like that. Bollocks. See, that's all coming off there now. See, I'll clean this a couple of times and it will come up eventually. What's gone in there will come off, will actually work its way out. See, look at that. That's starting to clean up now. That sticker's not coming off, which is ooh. Be nice if somebody would pop in and say hello. I wouldn't think I was all on my own then. Not that it matters. Right, let's clean the side there, because that's really manky. Not that you're ever going to see it, because I mean, like the back there, the tower at the back here, you're never going to see any of that because you're going to be looking at the front, so a lot of it doesn't really matter. But it seems to, even the rubber on there is still pretty good for its age. There we go. That had a sticker on it at some time, probably saying please clip the arm down when transporting the unit. See, there where we can't really get into with the cloth, cotton bud will do that, but it might not even need to be bothered with anyway. But we're a lot cleaner now, and they're nicer to work on when they're cleaner. There we go. You know, they feel a lot better to work on when they're clean. They feel a lot better to work. They're a lot nicer to work on when they've been cleaned. Now, what we need to do next is, the nice thing I like about these is they'll sit up like that, so you can work underneath them. The motor was working in this, but so what I'm going to do, I'm going to desolder these two wires off this switch here, because I can. Oh, well, I could if I heated the bloody iron up. If I turned the iron on, I could do that, but without turning the iron on, I'm not going to be able to manage that. So right, so can we have a look at the other camera? Should we have a look at the other camera and see what... I did turn my sound back on, didn't I? Yep. Let's have a look at the other camera. Oh, that's the... There we go. Oh, the other camera's froze. Oh, do you know, let me go back to the other one. I'm going to swap that USB lead out in a bit. Let me go to there. Go to there. So it's actually not the webcam that does that, it's the actual, I think it's that USB lead that's the problem, because I just think so. Properties, remove that, and then re-add it. There we go. Now let's zoom out, because I want to zoom out on that camera because I've zoomed in by quite a bit as well. There we go. It's only trouble when you've got two cameras that share the same remote control. They both work at the same time and you can't switch them. So that one will work on a different... I mean, some Sony products you could do that. You could switch them so they wouldn't work or work off the same remote control, but this one you can't do that. So now if I go to the camera, go back to there, and then go to there. There we are. Right. So what we want to do next, we want to take the wires off the motor. Go back to the camera, you can't see jack shit there. That is a waste of time. So we'll go back to the camera here. And what we'll do now, we'll get the wires off this switch. Desolder those. We can remove the motor completely then. There we are. That's it. Put the socket line back in the shoe. There we go. Now I will service, although all this is working, I will take out the motor and I will service the motor. Because it needs new grommets anyway. One's completely perished and the other two, yeah, well, the less said the better probably. I mean, this has probably been used to with an inch of its life, and I was going to say that's a bit short, but they're actually bushings. And that one doesn't want to move. Let's get this other one first. That one there doesn't want to move, so we might have to get the big guns on that. We don't want to lose the bushing, so we'll get that out in a second. That one's okay, and that one's okay. They're both okay, them ones. It's just this one here, and this is the one that doesn't want to come out. I hate it when that happens. You know, when you just can't. Let's try. Let's try that. Get the. There we go. That on it. And it's got to come out, there's no two ways about it. It's got no choice. And it doesn't want to go. Oh. Ah, got it. Wow. That did not want to go, folks, but it had no choice. Because you can't leave it in without, you can't get the grommet in with that in the place, so that had no choice, that had to come out. Right. Let's get there's the spacer, that'll be cleaned up and put back in. The other spacer. It's only one of these grommets we have to replace, and I think I've got a couple in this tub here. I threw some stuff off the bench, put that in Andy's box. That's the new socket for the job I'm doing for him. So we've got one. See, these are all modern, but these are all more modern, and that one's a bit bigger. That's a Garrard. Two. Let's see, there's a few of these in here. I'll pick them out and I'll find the best ones. Check out what's here. And you can't use the more modern idler on these either, because the hole in the middle of them is smaller and the idler overall is smaller. They're a different size on the early Monarchs, so you can't use them. Now we've got, put all these in here, we'll pick the best ones in a minute. Let's pull the motor, make sure I don't lose that spacer. Pull the motor and clean all the motor is not seized. We'll clean all the detritus off that motor in a minute. we'll I think we will right, that's all that crap out there. What about on the underneath? No, we're alright there. Yeah, these are a slightly different grommet. These are a slightly different grommet, folks. These ones here. These are a slightly different grommet. Am I going to be able to do this? Because that's to going upside down. Might have to use. What I might have to do is cut one up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut one up. Just cut it down there. Just cut that there. Just cut the ridge off of the bottom of it. You can't see what I'm doing there. Right, just cut the bottom off it there. And that'll just sit on the top then. That'll get us sorted. And if worse comes to worse, we can rub that with a bit of sandpaper even. Let's get the clippers on. So you can just nip around the side here and just take off the bits of rubber we don't want. And this can just sit like that. That'll do. That's not bad. Maybe a bit. Maybe we could go a bit further down. Yeah, a bit more come off there. That'll do. We don't want to go too far. See, now what I can do now, I've got that one in the bottom there. Close the knife, never leave the knife open. And what we can do now, we can service the motor. See, and this is the bottom of the remains of the bottom of the grommet, so we can try and scrape that off. Because it needs to be gone anyway. So we go into the hole there. Use the standing knife, that might be easier. When it decides it wants to open, that is, there we go. Just do. Take the motor apart. Can we take the pulley off? We probably can, but we're not going to. In fact, to be honest, that doesn't even need to come apart. A bit of oil in the bearings will do. Because that motor is actually quite good. Wish I could find my little oil can. A little bit of oil, just one drop, I'll do, in the top, and I don't think I'm going to get into the bottom with that. Right. I want to try and not take the bottom bearing off, because the housing off, because I've got this sorted out. What we do, load that up, put the top back on that, load the cotton bud up with oil, get into a position where you can see into the bearing, feed that in, there we go. There you go. And that's done. We'll give everything a bit of a clean out there. Not that it needs it. I mean, whoops. I mean, give that a bit of a wipe. There we go. Give this a bit of a touch with the oil, a bit of the oil that's left. We don't. And that's actually quite good. Right. Now, let's put our motor back together. See, that'll fit perfect there, and it'll tighten down lovely, as it should do. Lovely, lovely. Right, so put the motor back in, because there's nothing down there really I can do. I mean, I will grease the speed mechanism. I'll put a bit of grease in there, but that all works lovely, and there's not really any reason. Well, that's supposed to move up and down, isn't it? So why is it on? Oh, that's because I'm pressing on it. It's working. Yeah, that's all working. A lot of that can be done, and it can all be done with the motor in place. So we want to put the motor, make sure we get it right, so that the wires reach back to that switch, and they do. There we go. Yeah, that's correct. Right. Get the first screw in. And we'll do that one because we can see right down its hole. Move that out of the way. That one. And then that one. And I use this screwdriver because it's, I think that was the one that was slipping. Obviously it got a bit hot around that area. That's it. This will work absolutely beautifully in a minute. I'm surprised actually how not too bad nick my Dansette actually is. See, that moves a bit, but it's supposed to. You've got to have a bit of give there, and that's good enough. That's not going to cause any problems whatsoever. So what we need next is the grease and the grease brush. And there we go. Let's get a bit down on there, a bit on them runners, so it comes and a bit on there. You know, you can never quite get, there we go. You need a big lump of it here because it has to go into that really. Now if I turn that now, pull that air out of there, bit of crap, there we go. Right, and that's not, I don't need to do the main gear, main cycling gear, because there's nothing really in there that you do. So we'll put a bit down there, because there's supposed to be some lubricant in there. There we go. Let's go underneath. I'll tell you what, we'll do the thrust bearing last, or one of the last jobs. Now what we need to do is just do under here. We'll give all them little pivot points a bit of oil. Do under that. Move them wires there for the pickup. Although I'll be putting, just give it this a bit here, this a bit here. Now let's do the pivot points. Give all the pivot points a little bit of oil. Just to wipe all this dust off that might have got onto it. There we go. Make it look at least half decent. Now, oil our pivot points, all of them. Just one drop on each pivot point. That nothing seizes in the future. And if anything is going to get a bit stiff, then I'm not cleaning all this under here, there's no point. I mean, a bit on the control arm, there we go. Let's get a bit of grease. I've just got my fingers full of it. Yick. There we go. I'll tell you what, a tub of this grease goes a long way. I bought this tub about 5 years ago, if not longer. So I'm going to push that down there, and I'm going to just put a bit of grease on there. There we go. Get a bit of grease in the spring. There we go. That'll help it. Get a bit under that. There we go. Anything else? No, that doesn't need to be done. That's just added a little bit of oil. There's not a lot on these Monarchs to do, to be honest with you. There's not a lot. There's not really a lot to them. I mean, there's a couple of videos where I've stripped these and rebuilt them. That's why I'm not stripping it now, because you've already seen videos of me doing it. There's videos up there of me doing it, so that's the reason why I'm not doing it now, because, you know, if you've already seen me do it, what's the point? Now let's just get this crap off. There we go. Right, I mean, I mean, to be honest, it's a pretty shabby dance set, so I'm not really bothered about the condition, the appearance. I'm bothered about the quality of the work. But I'm not really bothered about the appearance of such things, because the record player is shabby anyway, and as shabby as it may be, it'll certainly be the best working dance set, that's for sure. Right, we'll get a little bit of grease on this part of the mechanism here, because there is supposed to be a little bit of grease there, only a little bit, just so that it can slide easy and you're not full metal on metal. There we go. That's that. Now, let's put the idler back on. I've not forgotten about the thrust bearings. Oh, hang on. Wash fibre washers in. I've not forgotten. Is that supposed to sit down in there? Don't think it is. Bit of oil. Let's get a bit of oil. Just there we go. So all you need, one drop. Goes a long way. Runs smooth now, doesn't it? And this doesn't have a circlip. You could put one on if you lost the pin, but this has a pin, and if you lost the pin you could put a circlip in there. There's no reason why you couldn't. And I want to push that in before it goes ping and fucks off across the room. That's it. Idler's in. Now what we'll do, we'll pour some IPA into the little tub, and we'll clean the idler and the motor and everything. Right, let's get a cotton bud. Give that a clean. I like to do it with it on, but I'm not messing. I'm just takes all the crap off from the sanding. I'll do. Now it's clean. They're supposed to move back really, but not supposed to be. Oh, it works though. Let's give this a clean. And that sort of notch there knocks it down to 78. It's weird how it works. Because you've got, if I can show you, you got hang on. There we go. There's 33, 45. Supposed to move back a bit. There's 33. 45, that's a bit out of thingy. That looks like it's not right. So 78 is there. It doesn't go down far enough. I wonder if the pulley is in the wrong position. Because it's supposed to go down. That there is not supposed to be this. That's actually part of the motor. That's not the step. So can I get in there and adjust that? I didn't see that before. Don't tell me I've got to pull the frigging motor back out to adjust that. How many screws is there in there? Don't tell me I've got to pull the motor back out just to adjust that. I didn't see that. Because that's... Can it come up a bit? Yeah, there, look, it's actually loose on the pulley. It's supposed to be about there. So luckily I can tighten that, so let's just check the speeds now. So that's 78, which is where it should be. Hang on. There we go. 78. This was all working a minute ago. It's 45 and 33. And that's correct, that's how it should be. The pulley's exactly bang in the right place. So now if I just tighten these are a bit loose. These are going to be loose, I just know it. See what I mean? And give this one here a bit of a turn. That's it. And just double check. There we go. Now, when the turntable's on, that goes down to 7, because that knocks it down to that notch there knocks it down to 78. And it catches on that because when the turntable's in place, and what it does, it rides. If we put it on 45, there we go, and it rides on 45. If we put it on, move down to 78, it knocks it down. That knobble there knocks it down. So what we'll put it in 33 so we can get everything back on. Right, so we'll give that another wipe over in a minute. In fact, we'll do that now because I have my fingers all over it. So we'll just make sure we've got no... We'll give that a clean on the top as well, there we go. And we'll give this one here a clean. Just give it a quick wipe. There's a bit of crap on there, so it's worthwhile cleaning it. There we go. Now, let's grease up our thrust bearing. And you pack these with grease. You don't oil them, like a lot of people do. You pack them with grease. The reason why there's no grease in this one is because it's so damn old. Scrape the grease off the side of the brush. There we go. Get that there, and it will pop pop into there. There we go. And that's nicely packed. Slide it down the shaft. Get that off the top of the spindle. Get that up quick. Yeah, the spindle's good. Put the give that a bit of a wipe. It's no crap on there, but wipe it anyway. There we go. Put that on. Move all this rubbish. Move all that crap. We did have a circlip somewhere. I seem to have lost it, but that doesn't matter. We'll find it. Oh, it's there. And the rubber has got bent over. I need to do something about that rubber. It's suffered a bit, that rubber, but it's still pliable, so I will be able to do something with it. I'll just give this a wipe. Give it a wipe with my shirt, because I've got to change my shirt. Well, look at my big fat belly. Who cares? That'll do for now. This mat's a bit knackered, but we're not worried about that. I'm not worried about the mat. So what we'll do next, we'll push that. There we go. We'll do something about this mat. I might even look for another one. But so what we'll do now, we'll connect it up. I don't know where the safe block is. There it is. We'll connect this up and see if it works. Make sure there's no slop in it or anything. Make sure it doesn't go dum 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 as it goes round, because we don't want any of that, do we? Hello Benji, I think there's that Benji. No, it's Andy Mouse, is it? Can't see from here. Looks like someone's there anyway. Good afternoon and welcome. Now what we're going to do, we're going to try this turntable and make sure it works. Make sure it does the job. I mean, it did sort of go round last night. It did sort of go round when I brought it home, but not very well, as you might say. It was a bit naff. So we'll shove that up that. I'm not worried about an earth. Shove that up that. Turn it on. Well, the motor's going. There's not much happening. Oh, there we are. Oh, that's plenty. Just hold it up like that. Alright, oops. Reject. Yeah, it all works. That's 33 1/3. 45 and 78. There's plenty of torque in it, and I will actually just put a bit of oil while it's running. There we go, and the oil can run down the shaft. But that's lovely, that. Or at least it would be. It would be if it decided to be consistent. So why is it not being consistent? So why are we not getting? That's weird. Let's turn that off. Goes into 78. It's not going into 45. It's not moving to 45. We'll soon sort that out. Let's pop that there a minute. Right, so it's moved to 45, just not engaging. And there's 33. I wonder if it's that. Might have crap under there. Let's just turn this off a minute. Could be crap under there. Yeah, that's what it is. It's crap under there. There. There you go, that's all it was. Surprising, isn't it? A little bit of shit. That's all it takes. So all it takes, a little bit of shit and it won't work. My phone's just gone ping. But do I really care? The answer to that is, depends on who it is. Hi mate, the hacker is fixed. That's an old one. That's from Steve. Oh, it's you, Harvey. Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't recognise the aftershave for a minute. Good afternoon, Harvey. I hope you're okay, mate. Yeah, I'm a good distance away from the screen, so I can't really. Yeah, I can see it now. Yeah, but I can't really see that far. You see, I mean. I'm not blind or anything, it's just that everything's small. Now let's try this again, shall we? 33 and a third, or if you're in Ireland it's 33 and a third. 45, 78. 33, 45 and 33. Now let's just try the action of the mechanism. Well, that's okay. That's okay. The arm height is and that should have turned off, but there you go, I might not have had that further all the way down. And why have we suddenly stopped? Oh. The arm is supposed to come back, switch off. That's it. Yeah, I must have had the control arm all the way down or something. Or, yeah. But that is now what you would commonly call working. I want to just check to make sure that because that lifts up a bit and I want to make sure that the arm is tight. It is. We'll not put the cartridge back in yet because we're going to put a new stylus in it for LP. Let's turn the safe block off. Get the wires from out of there. That's That's the Monarch. That's the BSR Monarch. Does it say? It just says British made. Three-speed record changer. I might polish that badge up. But that's that mat. What I'll do, I'll flatten that mat with something. It's a bit wrinkly in places, but it's still pliable, so it still can be used. I'll do something with it because it's still pliable. Actually, I will put the cartridge back in, and the reason why I'm going to do that is I know where it is then. It's got 2 needles in this, and they're probably alright for testing, but I know the cartridge is definitely good. So we'll put the cartridge back in and we know where it is then. Right, that's then. And then it slips in. Slip it back into there, there we go. Right. I mean, that feels very wonky, but it's not. That's how they are. I mean, that feels very wonky, but it's not. There was a version of this mechanism done which had Pi badges on it for the Pi black box. Very early versions of the Monarch, which is what this is. And put the remains of the IPA back in the bottle because waste not, want not, you know me folks. I'd even wash my toilet paper if I thought I could get away with it. I remember back in the 80s when I really was on my ass, I managed to actually use the same tea bag about 25 times. Begins to lose its flavour after a bit. So the amplifier's done, the record deck is done. It needs a bit more of a polish, but hey, you've seen me do the best of it. Hello Mike. Yeah, I've just put it back up again. I put it up last night, but it had about 20 minutes worth of the camera display on it as well after it finished, and that happened because Jay dropped me stuff off, and I made me and Jay a coffee, and we went in the we went in the front room to have a brew because there was stuff all over this room, so we went in there to have our brew. And I didn't come back through to check it, and it was only when Jay went about 20 minutes later I came back through and it was still recording on here, so I decided to edit it and put it back up again. So, you know, because there's no point in 20 minutes of shit being there, is there? No, it's not gone, Harvey. It's back up again. I took it. That's if you were just listening. I took it down. Do you mean the Goldborn one, Harvey? Well, it's back up again. Only I've chopped all the camera stuff off at the end. That shows you what's your camera index. You can if you want. Yeah, but I removed it because I didn't want all that crap at the end of it, so it was early hours this morning I removed it, but it's back up again now. It went back up this morning, well, about 11 o'clock, just about 11:30 or so, daft it went back up. Yeah, it's nice to hear from you, Mike. It's always a pleasure. Nice to hear from any of my subscribers. I mean, I don't mind. Anybody can comment. You know, but yeah, we all had a good time at Goulburn. You know, I was watching Jay's video earlier because Jay bought a load of stuff, and he got all the gear, no idea. Is it all the gear, no idea? Chris, yeah, donated him an oscilloscope because he didn't want. Basically, Chris didn't want to take it home, and nobody bought it, so he just walked over to me and says, "Yeah, I'll give that to you, mate." You know, I don't think he realised who Jay was. He just said, "Give that to you, mate." So, you know, so anyway, Jay duly thanked him, like, you know. But yes, there was some good stuff, but you know, not a lot of it. I didn't really want a lot of it. I bought that record recorder, and that was supposed to, the amplifier and that's supposed to have been restored, but I get the feeling it hasn't because nothing on it seems to run correctly. So I think I gave 15 quid for that and all. I think I sold a bit of a pup, to be honest with you, but I'll sort it, you know me. I think they were made by Pi, weren't they, them record recorders? It's actually called a Record Master. Or is it called Record Master? Because record and record, it's exactly the same word. It just depends on what context you say it in. But you see, to all intents and purposes, well, to any intents and purposes, it's exactly the same word. I'm going to have to see if I can clean the Dansette case up a bit. Maybe do any light work on it. But the good thing about it is, yeah, my electricity top up went okay. That's good. How much have I got on there now? I've got 15.90 on my gas and 29.50 on my electric. That should keep me going. Yeah, because I've just put a tenner on each of them. Do you know, they put the energy up, and the cheeky buggers, you know, they put the energy up, and the money came down and everything went up. That was good, wasn't it? You know, that's a real good way of dealing with it, that, isn't it? You know, put everything up and then give you less money so you can't afford any of it. I mean, there's people who are worrying about whether they can eat their home or put food on the table. I mean, I'm the same. I mean, that money I spent at Goulburn yesterday, I've been saving that for months. You know, I've been saving that for ages, and Steve's had it in his wallet for a couple of months because I gave it Steve to mine so I wouldn't spend it. So what I spent yesterday was what I've actually been scrimping and saving so that I could get some while I was there, because I've got a mate called Mick not about 20 minutes walk away from me. He normally lends me my Goulburn money, but I didn't need it this time because I didn't need to sit and speak to him this time. But he normally helps me out a little bit if I'm a bit short for Goulburn. He normally helps me out, and I just give him it back as and when I can. Doesn't bother, you know. But good mate. But I didn't need to yesterday because I'd been saving, and you know. But yeah, you know, it's the next one in April. You know, I'll be going to it, but I probably won't have a lot to spend. I'll probably just go buy a few transistor radios or something. Just take a few quid. I won't have a lot, I know that, because you know, it depends on what comes in. If anything comes in and I can get a few quid, you know, then yeah, I'll put some away. Like these record players, you know, when they're all done, every one of them. I might keep the Record Master, I might keep that for myself because I've always wanted one. Even though you can't get the bloody thing, but even though you can't get the media that it uses, I've always wanted one, so I'll probably keep that. I want to have a play about with this instrument I bought off All the Gear, No Idea as well. I want to plug that in a bit and have a mess about with that at some point. I'll probably do that off camera to familiarise myself with it, and then come back on and explain a bit anything I've learnt, if anything. Oh, pardon me. But yes, it's yeah, there was a few people there yesterday that knew me. There was George, I can't remember his last name. There was George, there was Chris, there was another guy. There was a few people that let on to me. I mean, a lot of people are getting to know me there. Not only subscribers, people who actually just go there, you know, traders who go there, they're all getting to know me. You know, it's like that one, that old bloke, it's like that old bloke who made the joke about when I mentioned the braces, he made the joke for my trousers. He made a joke about having some luggage straps, and bringing some luggage straps next time I come. You know, and that was fine because it was a joke, and you know, I had a laugh with him. I bought some things from him, I had a laugh, and I knocked him down on. No, not Fiddler. No, it wasn't George Fiddler. It was I can't remember his last name. It wasn't him. He wasn't there actually. I don't think he does anything now because he doesn't put any videos up. He never seems to ask me for any advice, which is just as well because he ain't getting any. If he wants to know anything, he can do what everyone else does. Watch me videos, you know. But certain people I will give advice to. I will, you know, but the purpose of making the videos is so that I don't have to, you know, describe things to people they should already know by watching the video, well, I suppose. But when all said and done, no, he wasn't there. I didn't think he would be. There's another guy called George with a beard and with green hair and a green beard. He was a right laugh. It was the guy who bought the Philips, the valve radio off the Philips one. I offered him £1, and he said a fiver. I said 4. He says done. You know, so I got it for £4. Jay did well getting them 2 radios for 50p each. I mean, that was a nice deal. And then multimeters he bought, them mains digital multimeters. I never saw them because if I'd have saw them, I'd have bought them. But I never saw them. But I didn't spot them, and you know. But Jay, when Jay goes, he's like a ferret, like a little mouse. He gets into everything. He absolutely looks at everything. I mean, you know. Well, I don't know. I'm not commenting, Harvey. I'm not commenting. I'm not interested, to be honest. I'm not commenting. I'm certainly not making any libel statements against anybody, and you know, no, I'm not going down that road, I'm afraid. And only I'd rather you didn't, but yeah, when all said and done. But yeah, we had a good laugh. I mean, yeah, there was. There's usually a man and a woman there. They're either from Newcastle or Liverpool. I think they're from Liverpool, but I'm not sure. And they normally have cartridges and styluses and tone arm wire, bits and bats like that, and they weren't there. They're normally on at the table as you go in, at the top table as you go in. They're normally there, but they weren't there yesterday. And one of the reasons I went was because I wanted some cartridges and I wanted to see if we could get some styluses, and my mate Fred wanted some as well, and there just wasn't any. You know, there was very few. It was mainly radios and the fella with the test equipment, who sells the test equipment, soldering irons and stuff, he was there. He had a few Weller irons on. I think that might have been where Jay bought the power supply, bought the meters from, because he had a few Variacs as well, and he sold all his Variacs. I think he had one at the end of the day. He had about 3 or 4 Variacs. He sold them all. I think he flogged them all bar one. He might have flogged them all even, but I think that was the stall where the table where Jay got them meters from. But I never paid any attention. I seen them, but I didn't realise what they were. But I never even looked. But I mean, at £2 a pop, he got a real bargain on those, because they're, like you said, they're a good quality British made meter, and they'll be as accurate as hell as well. Being British made, they'll be dead accurate. They'll be spot on. Because typically British, we like things that are spot on. I wish Christine had already back with my fruit pastels. I want to sweeten my mouth up a bit. Ooh. Yeah, but yeah, he is, Mike. He's Chris. Yeah, Chris is very clever. Very clever. Yeah, he's a decent guy. Yeah, he recognised me from the other side of the car park. He shouted over, "Hello, Andy. Hello, Steve." You know, and we had a bit of a chat, and he brought some stuff to put on the bring and buy. You know, and. He sold some of his stuff. I mean, I bought that thing off him, that waveform generator. I bought that from him. We'll have a look at that in a bit. Well, I'll have a look at it off camera and have a play with it. So, and there's actually Chris very thoughtful taped a manual of some description to the top of it. So. I'll get that off and have a look and see what it actually does, and I'll find a suitable place to put it and integrate it into my system, and see where we go from there. Yeah, they are. I mean, the one I've got, I think I paid 20 quid or 25 quid for it when I bought it. And I bought it off the same guy that was selling them yesterday, because that guy doesn't always have a stall. Doesn't always take stuff. It sometimes goes just for the crack or to just pick up the odd item. But I think when he gets what he does, I think he gets stuff and keeps hold of it. And when he's got enough to get rid of it, then he gets rid of it. But yeah, he had quite a bit of stuff. He did well, because I said to him, have you done all right? He said, oh yeah. So I've not done bad, you know. So, but I know he shifted his Variacs, but Variacs are expensive. But I think everybody should have one, really. I mean, plug in. Oh, new ones are, yeah. I mean, buying them off that fella, they're not expensive. I think he was doing them from 20 quid upwards, depending on what they were. But new ones are, yeah, new ones are. I wouldn't want to go and buy a new Variac. But they are expensive, you know, unless you can find them at the swap meets, then you get them cheap there, you know, but... like I say, he had about 3 or 4 of them, and I'm sure he sold them all. You know, but what I think he does, he gets them from universities and colleges and things, because I had a chat with him once. I bought a scope off him for 8 quid years ago. The first time I went, I bought an LG scope off him for 8 quid, and I sold it to another guy for 20 quid when I got that new digital one that my mate Andy bought me. when he bought me that, I didn't need it then, so, and I've still got one here that belongs to Steve. It's buried in the bedroom. So, you know, but scopes are 10 a penny, aren't they now, old ones? You know, yeah, everybody wants modern ones now, so old scopes, you can pick them up. You can pick old scopes up now for no money, really. Even scopes that were decent quality, like that LG that I had, that was a good scope. 2-channel, did the job. I think it was only about 20 megahertz, so it wasn't. Yeah, you know, this one I've got here, I can't remember how much it was, because, like I say, this one I've got here, I didn't buy it, my mate round the corner, Andy did. He bought it for me as a thank you for helping him out while we spent 5 months in hospital. And I looked after his dog for him, and I went round every day to sort him out and feed him and whatnot. And I didn't ask anything, he was a mate. So I just did it because plain and simply, he's a friend. So, and when he come out, he says, "Is there anything that you'd like?" I said, "Well, I don't really expect anything from you." Anyway, and I said, "What I'd like is an oscilloscope." I said, "All the ones I've had, they've all been second hand and just about, you know, the life used out of them, like." So, right, so he bought me that. He said, "Pick which one you want, I'll get it for you." You know, but at the end of the day, you don't really use a scope that much. I mean, I very rarely use it. I mean, I use it when I'm messing with CBs. I don't really use it on radios. There's not really any great need. Yeah, it was. You know, it was nice of him to do that. You know, but it's nice to do something for somebody. I think it's nice to do something for somebody and not expect any reward. You know, just for the hell of it, just because you know you're doing some good for somebody. You know, I mean, you know, he had to have his dog rehomed because he couldn't look after him when he came out. So he had to have him. A rescue place came and got him, but. You know, yeah, because he couldn't. You know, when he came out, he couldn't look after him, and you know, I would have still gone round while he was home and walked him for him. It wouldn't have been an issue, but you know, it was discussed between him and his sister, and it was decided that it was best that poor Dougal got rehomed. So that's what happened. But you know, there you go. But it's just nice to help somebody out for the hell of it and not expect any reward. I mean, I don't mind helping people out and I don't expect anything for doing it. You know, because that's the way I am. And really, it'd be an ideal world for everybody to be like that, but sadly it's not the case. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to move this Monarch deck out of the way because I'm going to put the circlip back on the turntable, move it out of the way, and I'm going to wipe the bench down, and I'm going to look at that instrument that I bought from Chris yesterday, have a look at the manual and stuff and see, just see what it actually does, because you know, I switched on yesterday and pressed a few buttons, but I'll be honest, I've never used one, so I'm clueless. So I'm going to have a look and I'm going to see if I can familiarise myself with it. And when I do, I'll come back on and we'll see how far I got. Right, thank you very much for joining me. Harvey and Mike, you both have a good day. And join me later when I'll be back on. Probably with reassembling the dance set, if I can clean the case. to some sort of degree. I'm going to try to, because that'll be a nice record player to, well, be a nice one to find a new home, and you know, yeah, I'll give it a glowing reference, as I always do with my Dansets. Yeah, the thing about Dansets is, you know, I only find that they're actually any good when I've got one. You know, when I haven't got one, I'm really shite. You know, well, I'm really shite in general, but you know, the older ones like this one, they were certainly better than the later ones. The Bermudas and stuff, they were crap. Although they had an EL84 in them, they were, you know, they were basically junk, because they just were. A bit more of an amplification stage would have been nice. Anyway, folks, I'm not going to witter on, otherwise I'll never get outdone. You all take it easy, and remember, I'll be back in a bit. I'll catch you later, folks. Thank you very much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed and you'd like to do so, then stop thinking about it and do it. If you want to be notified, click the bell. You all take it easy, and bye.